Okay, chicos, so this is a follow-up video to the masculine and feminine one. I'd recommend you watch that if you haven't already. But now we're going to be dealing with singular versus plural in Spanish. So like English, nouns change spelling in Spanish when they go from singular to plural. And so let's look at another rule of thumb here. If the noun ends in a vocal, which means vowel, A-E-I-O-U, you're going to add S on the end. And if it ends in a consonante, a consonant, you're going to add ES on the end. So, el hombre, la casa. These end in vowels, E and A. And so in the plural, you just simply add the S on the end. Los hombres, las casas. And the ones that end in a consonant, papel, the L, and la mujer, la R, it's going to be adding an ES on the end. Los papeles, las mujeres. By the way, when you want to talk about a specific letter in Spanish, so E-A-L-R, you're going to use the article la. So la E, la A, la L, la R. Top tip. Of course, there are some words that don't follow this pattern and change spelling ever so slightly. A common one is words that end in Z, theta, where the Z changes to a C before adding the ES. And this is for pronunciation. So la luz, las luces, el lápiz, los lápices, el pez, los peces, okay? So can you see the Z is completely removed and it changes to a C. That's for pronunciation. Again, you'll just pick this up as you continue exposing yourself to Spanish. So another thing I want you to know is that the first 5 days of the week don't change in the plural. The only ones that do are Saturday and Sunday, and they have an S on the end. So here, lunes, martes, miércoles, jueves, viernes. In the plural, they become los lunes, los martes, los miércoles, los jueves, los viernes. So you see, these don't change at all. You just change the article to the plural here, and they're all masculine. However, for Saturday and Sunday, el sábado, los sábados, you're going to add S on the end there. Ojo. Ojo means eye, literally, but it also means pay attention, watch out. So ojo. You don't need to capitalize the day of the week in Spanish unless it's at the start of a sentence. So here, Tuesday I have an important meeting. Martes tengo una reunión importante. There's a capital letter here at the start. But if it becomes in the sentence here, we go to the gym every Wednesday, you don't capitalize it. So we've seen in the masculine and feminine video the general rule of thumb that if a masculine noun ends in O, if the noun ends in O, it's likely going to be masculine. And if the noun ends in A, it's likely going to be feminine. But there is one other type of exception that I want to cover here. And that is that feminine nouns that borrow the article el for sound reasons. Por ejemplo, el agua fría, the cold water. So you might be confused and you say, well, okay, agua ends in A. The rule of thumb is if it ends in A, it's feminine. But maybe this is not a rule of thumb, and so it is a masculine noun that ends in A, so we're going to use el. But then why is there a feminine adjective which ends in A? And it is confusing. So the word agua itself is feminine, and this is why you use a feminine adjective, fría. But in the singular form, the masculine article el is used, and this is for sound reasons. So el agua fría, because if you say l'agua, it just sounds a little bit awkward because of the two strong A sounds together. So in the singular, you're going to use el agua, even though agua is feminine. But in the plural, you say las aguas, because there are no sound issues there. There's no two sharp A sounds together. And so there are other feminine nouns that do this as well. And again, you just need to learn these, but you can kind of sense them from the stressed A or the stressed A sound. So el águila, the eagle. So this is still feminine, but we use el in the singular. And in the plural, it goes back to feminine. El alma, the soul. El hacha, the axe. El arma, the weapon. So these are all feminine, but in the singular, they take the masculine article and they keep the feminine adjective if you're using one there. And thankfully, there are no masculine nouns that borrow the article la for sound reasons. Okay, chicos, so again, I will always stress this will come with practice, it will come with exposure, it will come with making mistakes. I've made a free guide for you on the masculine and feminine and singular and plural, which covers everything in this video and more, and the previous one, including plenty of examples. So check that out in the link below. Persevera y triunfarás. Persevere and you will succeed. Keep going, keep getting out there. If you have any questions, shoot me a message below. Make sure you're subscribed to the newsletter for weekly bite-sized lessons. The link is in below there as well. Plenty of resources to support you on your Spanish journey. I'm here for you, whatever you need. Let's keep connecting with each other and keep getting out there. Un abrazo. Ciao.